Hi, and welcome to Bridgewater State University. My name is Matt Kiskowski, and I'm an academic advisor in the Academic Achievement Center here at BSU. I'm going to be walking you through a brief presentation about advising at BSU. We're going to cover a lot of information here, but the most important thing to remember is that your advisor is here to support you. If you have questions, any questions at all, reach out to us. It's our job to help. Okay, let's get on with the show. There are a few goals I want to accomplish during this presentation. First, I'll introduce you to the advising team in the AAC. You'll be assigned an advisor in the AAC for at least your first semester, so this will give you a chance to see who you might be working with. I'll also give you a little bit of information about what advisors do and how we can help you while you're here. Next, I'll cover some general graduation requirements that all students need to complete. That'll give you a sense of what you need to do in order to get your fancy hat and diploma. Finally, we'll cover some information about how to search and how to register for classes. After watching this presentation and reviewing the resources we have for you online, you should be able to set up your schedule and register for classes for your first semester. Now I know this whole mess of Handsome can get a little distracting, so I'm going to turn off my camera for the rest of the presentation, but you should still hear my voice as we go on. All right, let's get to some introductions.
These fine and friendly folks are the advisors in the Academic Achievement Center. One of these smiling faces will be assigned to be your advisor for at least your first semester here at BSU. Keep an eye on your email over the first couple weeks of the semester. Your advisor should email you to introduce him or herself. So what does your advisor actually do? How can they help you? Well, first and foremost, your advisor is here to support you. That support can take a lot of different forms. The first thing you'll work with an advisor on is your schedule. After you register for your first semester, more on that later, you'll meet with an advisor to review and finalize your schedule to make sure you're in the right classes. You'll continue to work with advisors throughout your time at BSU to get your class schedule set up properly each semester. Advisors do more than just help people register for classes, though. Like I said, we're here to support you. For example, transitioning from high school to the new academic expectations of college can be tricky. Advisors can help with that. Another thing we do is help students choose majors. That might mean helping undecided students explore all the different options for majors at BSU, but it can also mean helping a student in the management major decide whether something like chemistry or sociology might be a better fit. We also help students understand the degree requirements they need to complete in order to graduate. We help students make plans so they stay on track to graduate on time, and we connect students to campus resources. Basically, if you have a question about college or a problem comes up in your time at BSU, your advisor can help. Even if we don't have the exact answer you need, we can likely connect you to someone who does. So use your advisor as a resource while you're here at BSU. If not for the support they can give you, then at least stop by to see if they have a stash of candy you can grab from. Of course, the big goal that advisors have is to help you graduate from college. So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about what you have to do in order to earn your diploma. Now let's think of your degree as a pizza. Pizza. Okay, there are two special toppings on this pizza: course credits and your GPA. Almost every class you take at BSU will earn you credits. You'll need to earn at least 120 credits to be able to graduate. Most courses give you 3 credits, so you'll need about 40 courses to graduate. Your GPA is your grade point average. When you finish a class, you get a grade. We convert that grade into a number, then combine it with all the other grades you've gotten to find your grade point average. You need to earn at least a 2.0 GPA, or a C average, by the time you graduate. This depends a bit on your major though, because some majors require a higher GPA to graduate. So credits and GPA are the toppings that cover the whole pizza. Then we slice that pie into 3 big pieces. Yes, 3 cheesy, hot, delicious, 3 serious academic pieces. These 3 pieces are the 3 different types of classes you have to take in order to graduate. One piece is the core curriculum, another is your major requirements, the third is electives. I'll go into detail on what exactly the core curriculum and major requirements are in the upcoming slides. Electives, though, can be any classes that earn you college level credit. You need electives because the number of credits you'll earn by completing your core and major requirements will probably not add up to 120. You take elective classes to explore other areas of interest and boost your credit count so you can hit that 120 credit requirement. So if you complete all your core curriculum requirements and all your major requirements, earn 120 total credits between your core, major, and elective classes, and maintain a GPA of at least 2.0, you can get your fancy hat and diploma. It's that easy. Now, let's talk a little more about those core and major requirements, shall we? First, the core curriculum. Everyone has to complete the core curriculum, no matter what their major is. It's a set of common requirements designed to make sure each BSU student gets a strong foundation of academic skills they can use to be successful as they progress through college. Sometimes people are a little bummed out about the core classes because on the surface, they might not seem to be explicitly connected to their academic and career goals. But the core is there for a reason. Lots of reasons, actually, and that's important to remember as you make your way through the requirements. Core classes can help you build a common vocabulary and understanding that you'll use to connect to the BSU community and become an informed and engaged citizen after graduation. They also help you develop the kinds of critical thinking skills that employers are looking for from new graduates. These are skills that are important in any career you might go into, even one that doesn't exist yet. Now, many of your first year courses will be core classes, things like English 101 and 102, math, and your first year seminar. You'll learn skills in these classes that you'll use in almost every other class you take at BSU, so we want to make sure you get those tools early. After your first year, you'll continue doing core classes, particularly core distribution classes in areas like fine arts, humanities, and sciences. You'll have more freedom to explore different subjects and areas of interest in those distribution classes. Use that to your advantage. Many students find new interests, even a minor or a second major, by taking classes for distribution requirements. So don't just try to get through the core curriculum. Try to seek out courses that engage your interests. That way you'll get the most out of it. Next, major requirements. Everyone has to declare a major in order to graduate. A major gives you the opportunity to focus on one area of study to get a really in-depth understanding of it. You'll have good general knowledge of lots of areas from the core curriculum, but you'll get some expert training in your major subject. BSU has over 90 different majors to choose from accounting and finance to theater arts. Whatever your major is, it should be something you're interested in. You'll be taking a lot of courses in that area, so you want to be sure you'll be motivated to actually learn about it. Different majors have different sets of courses and requirements to complete, but you can expect to take a minimum of 10 classes in your major area. Some majors also have GPA requirements, so you need to make sure you keep up with your grades too. You can check the BSU catalog or your DegreeWorks degree audit for details about all the different major requirements. You may already have a major, or you may still be trying to decide on one. Either way is fine. If you need help choosing a major, have a talk with your academic advisor to start the process. So now you know a little bit about what you have to do in order to graduate. And if graduation is the goal, the first step is to register for your first semester classes. Let's talk about how that works. Before you can actually register for classes, there are 3 things you need to do to prepare. First, you need to complete writing and math placements. If you've already done this, great! If you haven't, you should complete those placements as soon as possible. You'll need to submit an essay online to complete the writing placement. For math placement, you can take a placement test created by the math department. You can also submit your math SAT scores for review, but the placement test tends to give more accurate results. In the upcoming slides, I'll explain how your placement tests affect the English and math classes you should explore next semester. Second, you need to understand how to use the online registration tools available. You'll be searching for your classes and registering for those classes online using InfoBear. We'll talk more about InfoBear and the search and register system shortly. Finally, you need to make a plan. That is, you need to know what classes you should be taking in your first semester. In the email you received from the AAC, you should have received some suggestions on what classes to target in your search. There are also some standard classes all students should complete in their first year. I'll give you more information about those so you can put together a schedule that makes sense. Sound good? Great, let's go. First, writing placement. All students are required to complete an essay for placement in English classes. You can see the essay prompt and submit your work at the website listed on the new student checklist from admissions. Submit your essay as soon as possible. You'll delay your registration if you wait too long. Once your essay is scored, you'll be placed into one of 3 English classes for your first semester. English 101, Writing Rhetorically, is a standard college composition course. English 101E is also a Writing Rhetorically course. The difference is that it has English 144 attached to it. English 144 is a one-credit tutorial designed to provide additional support to students as they take English 101 through one-on-one tutoring and small group book clubs. If you're placed into English 101E, you also have to register for a paired section of English 144. English 102, Writing Rhetorically with Sources, is the second level of college composition after English 101. If you place into English 102, you can skip English 101 and start with English 102. Another reason English placement is important is because it also affects your placement in the first-year seminar. First-year seminar classes are offered in a variety of different subject areas, and you can take any one you want. They will all have a 199 course number. They are also writing intensive and focused on the development of critical reading and writing skills. If you place into English 101E and English 144, you should complete those courses in your first semester. Then you can plan to take the first-year seminar in your second semester when you're fully prepared for that. If you place into English 101 or English 102, you can take the first-year seminar with whichever course you take in your first semester. So that's English placement. Now on to math placement. All students at BSU have to take at least one math course. Awesome, right? Right. Everyone loves math. Which math course or courses you need depends on your major and your math placement. Currently, the best way to take care of your math placement is to take the placement test created by the math department. You'll be placed in a math class based on your results from that test. Use the link on the new student checklist from admissions for more details on the math placement test, including instructions on how to sign up. The link is also available on the AAC's new Student Advising and Registration website. You're also welcome to submit your math SAT scores for review, but the placement test tends to give more accurate results. Before we move on from placement testing, a quick word about some other tests: SATs and Advanced Placement, or AP tests. SAT scores and AP credits can be used to satisfy English and math placement requirements in some situations. But for all students, we still recommend you do follow the BSU English and math placement process. We're not just saying this to be big meanies and make you take more tests. There are actual reasons. So first, SAT scores. Yes, it's true that you can use your SAT scores for placement into English and math classes in some situations. So why do we still want you to do the BSU tests? Well, for one thing, most students actually place into higher level courses by doing the BSU placement test than they do with their SAT scores. So you're welcome. Second, in some cases, SAT scores might be too low to place you into any level of English or math, and you would have to take the placement test anyway. Okay, so what about AP tests? Well, first of all, if you did take any APs in high school, make sure you go to the College Board website and request to have an official score report sent to BSU. You can't get credit for your APs unless you send us an official score report, so don't forget that step. Now, BSU likely won't receive that score report until mid to late summer. If you set up your schedule before then, and you should, then you want to act as if you will not receive AP credit, just in case your credits don't come in as expected. When we do get your score report, we will apply any AP credits that we can to your record. If you have duplicate courses on your schedule, let's say you registered for introductory psychology and you got credit for the psychology AP, someone will contact you over the summer to help you make adjustments. So what does this have to do with placement testing? Again, even if you might have AP credit coming in for English and/or math, you should still do BSU's English and math placement. Why? Because doing the BSU English and math placement will allow you to register for English and math sooner than you would be able to if you waited for your AP credits to come in. Additionally, if your AP credits don't come in the way you expect them to, your schedule will be set up and you won't have to scramble to make adjustments. Finally, English and math placement can also be used to place you into other classes. For example, you can't register for your first year seminar until you place into the English 101 level. So if you wait for your AP scores to come in, you'll be delaying more than just your English registration. Okay, once you've completed your English and math placement, it's time to learn how to use the online registration system. To help you learn, we've developed a website with a lot of useful resources and instructions. The address is listed on this slide and was also included in the email you received from the AAC. Some of the things you'll find on the website include video tutorials that show you how to use InfoBear in your DegreeWorks audit, lists of paired sections for people who need to take classes like English 101E and English 144, suggestions of courses to target for your first semester based on your major, block schedule templates to help you piece together your daily and weekly schedule, a glossary of important terms for when you run into academic jargon you don't recognize. You can even watch video introductions from some of our advisors to see who you might be working with. We recommend you review this website before you register and then refer back to it as you're using InfoBear in your degree audit to build your schedule. The more you can do on your own, the better. The steps you need to follow to get registered in your first semester at BSU are listed on the website, but let's preview them now so you know what to expect. I'm going to cover some important topics over the next few slides to help you get ready. We'll talk about how many classes you should plan to take in your first semester. I'll help you figure out which classes you should target based on your placement and core and major requirements. Then we'll look at some considerations you should make when building your schedule, like how many classes you should plan for each day. Finally, I'll cover some last resources you can use to get yourself registered. So first, how many classes should you take in your first semester? Well, the number of classes you take each semester is a personal decision that you'll want to make based on a few different factors. One important thing you might consider when thinking about how many classes to take is, when do you want to graduate? When most people think of a bachelor's degree, they think of it as a 4-year degree. If you want to graduate on a 4-year timeline, then you should plan to take about 15 credits or 5 classes each semester. That adds up to 30 credits per year, or 120 credits over 4 years. Another consideration is full-time status. You may need to be a full-time student to meet certain financial aid, athletic, or visa obligations. In order to be a full-time student, you need to take at least 12 credits, or 4 3-credit classes each semester. Now, depending on your circumstances, you may not be able to take 15 or 12 credits in a semester. If you have to work 50 hours a week, plopping a full-time class schedule on top of it might not be the best idea. If you take fewer than 12 credits in a semester, you're considered a part-time student, and that's totally fine. You just need to make sure you know how that might affect things like financial aid and your graduation timeline. If you have questions about how many classes to take, feel free to talk to your advisor about it for a more detailed discussion. Okay, this next slide is a big one, so buckle up and sharpen your note-taking pencils. Once you decide how many classes to take, the next decision is which classes to take. Well, there are 5 classes that you should complete by the end of your first year at BSU. Those are English 101, English 102, your first year seminar, math, and logical reasoning. So starting with those courses is a good idea. But it's a little more complicated than plugging all 5 of those courses into your first semester schedule. So let's talk about each requirement separately for a second. First, English. I mentioned earlier that based on your placement essay, you could start out in English 101E and 144, or English 101, or English 102. You should plan to register for whichever class matches your placement in your first semester. One note here, English 101 is a prerequisite for English 102. That means you have to take or place out of English 101 before you can take English 102. You can't take them both at the same time. So if you're going to take English 101E or English 101 in your first semester, you'll plan to take English 102 in your second semester at BSU. Next is the first year seminar. If you placed into English 101 or English 102, you should also take a first year seminar course in your first semester. As I said before, first year seminars all have a course number of 199, so you can look out for that when you search. We also have a link on the new student advising and registration website to a document with a full listing of all the first year seminars being offered in the fall, including course descriptions. This is a great resource if you're looking for a first year seminar, so I highly recommend you use it. You can find it in the registration resources section of the website. If you placed into English 101E and English 144, then wait until your second semester to take your first year seminar. And then comes math. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I know a lot of you out there feel a little squeamish when it comes to math. That's fine, I understand. But fight the urge to put off math until later. You really should take a math course in your first semester at BSU, if at all possible. Which math course you take is based on your placement and your major. You should have more specifics on that in the email from the AAC, but if it doesn't make sense, you can check with an advisor before you choose a math class. And hey, we get it, math is tricky. That's why we have a lot of great tutoring support in the AAC and on campus specifically for math classes. Remember, we're here to help. Now, in addition to English, first year seminar, and math, you can also target 2 other areas. One area is major courses. In particular, it's a great idea to try to take introductory courses in your major area in your first semester. You'll find a resource on the New Student Advising and Registration site called First Year Courses by Major. You can take a look at that to see some of the major courses we recommend you take in your first year. The other area is core courses. As I said earlier, everyone needs to complete the core curriculum to graduate. It's a good idea to get started on it early. If you need to fill out your schedule, it's a good idea to take a look at things in the core. A couple of good requirements to consider here are logical reasoning and public speaking. The logical reasoning requirement has to be completed in your first year. If you placed into either Math 090 or Math 095, however, we recommend you wait until you finish that math course before taking logical reasoning. The logical reasoning requirement can be satisfied by any of 3 different classes: Math 180, Computer Science 111, or Critical Thinking 111. If you're a math major, you want to take Math 180, Transition to Advanced Mathematics. Math 180 is also recommended, but not required, for computer science and physics majors. Math 180 does have a prerequisite though. You have to have completed Math 161, Single Variable Calculus 1, or take it at the same time, so be aware of that. Another option is Computer Science 111, Logic and Computers. Although it's a computer science course, computer science majors are not required to take this. Still, it's a good option for any students who are interested in coding and programming and the logic that underlies them. The third option is Critical Thinking 111, Foundations of Logical Reasoning. Most students will end up taking this course to satisfy the logical reasoning requirement. Another good requirement to consider is public speaking. There are 2 different courses you can take to satisfy the public speaking requirement. Communication Studies 102, Public Speaking, is a traditional public speaking course. In it, you'll do things like write speeches and perform them for your classmates. The other option, Theater 210, Oral Interpretation, is similar. In that class, you'll perform things like speeches, monologues from plays, and poems. The big difference between them is that you write your own material in Communication Studies 102, and the material is usually written for you in Theater 210. If you're a communications major or a management or marketing major, you should take Communication Studies 102. Otherwise, you can take whichever class you prefer. If you still aren't able to fill out your schedule from among those choices, you can also look at the core distribution requirements. Core distribution requirements are things like humanities, fine and performing arts, global cultures, etc. You can see a full list of your core distribution requirements on your DegreeWorks degree audit, and you can search for individual requirements there and with the InfoBear course search. If you need to round out your schedule, distribution requirements are a good place to look. So, to recap, the courses you should aim for when you're building your first semester schedule are English, based on your placement, Math, based on your placement and major, first year seminar if you place into English 101 or 102, major coursework, and additional core requirements like logical reasoning, public speaking, and distribution courses to fill out your schedule. Now that you have an idea of what courses to look for, the next question is, how do you put it all together? One of the nice things about college is that you get a lot of choice in that decision. I can give you some general guidelines to think about though as you're sorting it out. First, it's important to know a little bit about how to read the schedule at BSU. For example, when you're looking up courses in InfoBear, you can see the days and times that classes are offered, as well as the class locations. In the course search results, you'll see a bar with different letters to note the different days of the week, including Saturday and Sunday. Any of the days that are highlighted in blue are days when the class will be scheduled to meet. In 2 of the examples on this page, one class is scheduled to meet Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10:10 to 11 a.m. The other class is scheduled to meet Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:25 to 4:40 p.m. The third example has no days highlighted in blue. In that case, the class is planned as an asynchronous online class, which means it will have no scheduled meeting times. Instead, you're responsible for reviewing the work and completing the assignments on your own time. Asynchronous classes offer great flexibility, but your time management game has to be strong to keep up with them. Definitely pay attention to this as you're picking out your classes. In terms of timing, each 3-credit class will typically meet about 3 hours per week. If a class meets 3 days a week, it will meet for about an hour each day. If a class meets 2 days a week, it'll meet for about an hour and a half each day. Some classes only meet once a week for about 3 hours, too. Finally, be sure to keep an eye on the buildings and rooms listed for the classes. Many classes will have a standard building name and room number listed. Those classes are scheduled to be held in the classroom. Other classes may have the words online or web listed for the building or room locations. If you see online or web listed as a location, the class is scheduled as an online class. Let's take a minute to talk about those online classes. BSU offers a variety of different formats for classes: in-person, hybrid, synchronous online, and asynchronous online. Different students will find different formats better for them. It's important to think about what might work best for you as you build your schedule. While you're putting your schedule together, you want to pay attention to the section codes you see connected to the classes you're choosing. Section codes are 3 digits and can include letters and/or numbers. You'll find them in the 4th column of your search results. You can use them to determine the meeting format for the class. Sections with 3 numbers, for example 001, will have traditional in-person class meetings. Sections with an S at the beginning, for example S01, will be synchronous online classes. They will have online meetings through Zoom or another platform at the assigned time, but no in-person meetings. Sections with a CO at the beginning, for example CO1, will be asynchronous online classes. They will be fully online classes, but there will be no assigned meeting times, online or otherwise. Instead, you'll do the work on your own schedule throughout the week, being sure to meet any posted deadlines for assignments. Finally, you may also see some section numbers with CS at the beginning, for example CS1. These classes are night classes. They begin after 4 p.m. Night classes cost extra tuition if you're going to take more than 12 credits in a semester, so keep that in mind as you're registering. There are a few other things to be aware of as you're reviewing classes and building a schedule too. First, we recommend that you build a 4 or 5 day schedule for your first semester. I know it's tempting to try and cram all your classes into Tuesdays and Thursdays so you can have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday class free. The flip side of that, however, is that your Tuesdays and Thursdays will be jam-packed. That might mean you don't even get a break to grab lunch during the day. Trust me, it's not easy to give a presentation in your public speaking class while you're also trying to cram a slice of pizza in your mouth. It also might lead to a situation where you have 4 midterm exams on the same day. Not ideal. If you spread out your classes, some on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, some on Tuesday, Thursday, you'll have a more balanced schedule that will give you more time to manage all the work you have to do for your classes. When you're lining up your classes, you should also try to give yourself breaks throughout the day so you have time to decompress and prepare between your classes. We especially recommend this for students who had learning accommodations in high school and might be working with student accessibility services here at BSU. For example, students who are eligible for extended testing time should not have back-to-back classes in case a test in their first class overlaps their next class. Another section code to be aware of here is H for honors. If you're a student in the honors program, it's recommended that you take an honors course, preferably an honors first year seminar in your first semester. We have a guide on our new student advising and registration resources website that lists out available honors courses, but you can also just look for classes that have section numbers beginning with H. You can also search specifically for honors courses using InfoBear. If you're a student athlete, it's recommended that you set up your schedule so your classes end by 1 p.m. each day if possible. That way you can fit in your practice schedule too. You may want to follow up with the athletic director or your coach about this as well. Finally, if you had a 504 plan or an IEP in high school and think you might qualify for classroom or campus accommodations, please contact the Student Accessibility Services Office for assistance with this. Even if you don't think you'll use those accommodations at BSU, it's good to at least talk to SAS to make sure you're aware of your options. So if you follow all that advice, you might end up with a schedule that looks something like this. This student has 4 of the 5 required first-year courses: English 101, Math 110, a first-year seminar, and a logical reasoning course. He rounded out his schedule with Introductory Psychology, which is a core distribution course, and which may count toward his major, depending on what his major is. And if you look at the days and times, you can see that he has 3 classes that meet Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and 2 that meet at Tuesdays and Thursdays, so he has things spread out well. Obviously, your schedule won't look exactly like this, but it's a good template to work off as you're considering your choices. So what now? Well, let's talk about next steps. You've already finished step 1, reviewing this PowerPoint. Nice work, and congratulations on putting up with my voice this whole time. Step 2 is to review the guide for searching and registering for classes. There's a link to the guide in the advising welcome email you received from the Academic Achievement Center. That'll give you instructions on how to use InfoBear to search and register for classes. There are also video tutorials to help you with InfoBear available on the new Student Advising and Registration website. Step 3 is to review the recommended courses listed in your email from the Academic Achievement Center. Those are the classes we think it would be good for you to try to take in your first semester. Then, Step 4, register. Look up the classes online and put as many as you can on your schedule. Don't forget to visit our website for helpful registration resources and video tutorials. The link is on the screen, and it's also in the email you received from the AAC. If you're having trouble using InfoBear, understanding your degree audit, or just figuring out what classes to look for, then take a look at the website. You're sure to find at least some of the answers you're looking for there. If you can't put together a full schedule, don't worry. You'll have a chance to follow up with an advisor before the start of the semester to finalize your schedule. That's what Step 5 is. To schedule that appointment, you can use the link that was sent to you in the email from the AAC. And that is just about that. Thank you for following along with me. I hope I was able to help you understand some things about advising at BSU and how to set up your first semester schedule. Please visit the new Student Advising and Registration website for additional resources as you put together your schedule. And if you need more help, you can always reach out to us by email. Good luck as you set up your schedule. We're all looking forward to working with you soon.